Hello. Let's talk about the resistance. They say it's futile. They say it persists. And they is us, you and me. So I think that's true. What do you think? Hi. I was going to pop on at 3:33, my favorite time of the day, and talk about why it's both a random, insignificant detail and also symbolic of synchronicity in life. But then it got to be 3:35 before I clicked the button, and by the time I did that, I was thinking about all the things I would change, like my shirt and my hair, and almost didn't pop on live at all. And so I think what I'm talking about is that tension between wanting to perfect something and only present to each other our well articulated, polished, hairbrushed, shirt straightened versions of ourselves, and wanting to portray ourselves as the real, genuine humans. I don't know what that is, but sticky. As the real humans that we are. And I know I might be stickier than some humans, and I bet there's some humans that's stickier than me. It's all relative, right? I do think that it's true that what we resist persists. Although I do also understand the current trend, the current wave of resistance that's rippling through humanity lately in response to a lot of things that people don't want. That was an interesting noise that my light made. I think it was that. I understand wanting to push back. Believe me, I got a lot of pushback in me. And I want my desk to be more better, closer to clutter free. And I also, though, am probably more comfortable with, with the clutter and the imperfection, the ongoing nature of it all. And that isn't just because I'm like, I'm not trying to say I'm some higher evolved, like, oh, I'm fine with that. It's really out of necessity. Yeah, I feel like a lot of my life has had a fair amount of others not being on board with me, and so I've gotten good at learning to support myself. Good with air quotes, I guess I should say. As I alluded to in the title, it's really a bunch of sort of random, sort of synchronistic, sort of random thoughts going on in my head right now that I'm trying to articulate. But what I was getting at was that thought that, that I was having while I was stalled for a couple minutes before I managed to get on here today, about that tension between our desire to present ourselves as some polished version. It's not that it's necessarily not our true selves, but it's the most polished version that we could fit in this rectangle or square or whatever frame that we're in. And thank you. I think part of the reason I'm here stammering and just revealing my unpolished humanness is I think that's what gives us meaning in so many ways. And I think we need to remember that it's okay to be an unpolished human. You know, we have robots on the way and AI already here and plenty of iterations of polish on the way and many iterations of polish that already happen. And you know, I love a good shine myself. I love a good well-cut diamond, as they say. You know, I mean, I'm not opposed to polish and all of that, but I also really think that it's okay to be unpolished and imperfect and learning and not have all your shit together. You know, I think I follow a lot of people online who have a lot more of their shit together than I feel like I have. And I sometimes find it disheartening because I feel like maybe I'll never achieve that, or, you know, I find myself in limiting thought loops that I don't want to repeat because I do think our words matter. And I do think a lot of my own surroundings are due to my own limiting thought patterns and loops. But I also think that's probably the majority of us humans, and that's beautiful. And, you know, not just okay, but really is beautiful. It's really the thing that makes all this worth the struggle, right? Is our uniqueness, our unpolished edges, our flaws, as we might say. Yeah, that as we watch ourselves and each other age and see people die, I think that I don't know, that I was going to say that it becomes more and more prevalent, but I don't even think that it's more and more prevalent. It's just sort of an ongoing, you know, there's these poignant reminders ongoingly. Yeah. Let the sun shine through. Thank you so much for your kind words in the chat. Namaste. From New Mexico to Colorado. I'm wondering, when you say the adobe wall, if you mean my papercrete bottle wall, or if you're talking about, I actually did work on an adobe wall a few years back out in the town of Cochiti, where I put some bottles into an adobe wall, but I didn't actually build the whole wall, but I was hired to do some finish work on it, and some finish work on it. Anyway, I agree. You say the word engaged, and I totally think I come to the word present a lot, like conscious and present. I think it's about being in the here and now, present, which is a lot of why I forced myself on to here, even as I hesitated. There's a lot of reasons, I guess, but one of them is that I am aspiring to practice being present. And I know this is it's a weird frame. Well, it's a rectangle. Maybe it's not weird. It's a pretty polished rectangular frame. But you know what I mean. I'm aware that this is an interesting medium to practice being present on, because it's going to be recorded and then iterate itself into the future in some kind of way, or not sit there. But yeah, it's all a grand experiment to me. And yeah, I did the glass and bottles. I've done a lot of experimenting with those. It's been fun. I'm not done yet. Actually, I've been slowed down by time and the limitations of a physical body more than I anticipated as I set off on a lot of my grand endeavors. But I haven't given up, and I have one rather large project, my back porch edition. I call it my 8 Dragons room, that is most of the way finished. I just have some plaster finish to do on it. So that may have been what you've seen. And then I have the Head Hutt Mega-Sculpture, which I wrote a book about, put on Amazon. That was like a 10-year project that is finished, but you know, I say with a grimace, it's as finished as it's going to get, I suppose, and needs a little bit of touch-up TLC work right now. I was just staring out the window at it, thinking that. But it's doing well. It's a little cold out there right now. I haven't been heating it. And then I have a giant foo dog Mega-Sculpture that's a treehouse and a storage area and a root cellar. And all of them were grand experiments, just me trying things out as I thought of them. The Head Hutt, I did quite a bit of planning. I tried to get a permit. That was a long story that's in my book, but I did do some mock-ups and some planning, and then it turned out much different. I changed my mind a lot of times. But like the foo dog, well, I did make a mock-up of the foo dog when I was about halfway done with it, and it's very experimental. And the 8 Dragons room is really me trying to use up a lot of the bottles and materials that I had accumulated during those projects. And I still have those, and people still are bringing me blue bottles because those are a little harder to come by. And I have a hard time saying no to them because I know how hard they are to come by. So I have accumulating even still more bottles for more projects that I do sometimes ponder whether to just dump in the trash or start something, or, you know, most of my endeavors, including this one, I spend a lot of time on and don't make any money from. And that's all fine and dandy when I'm making plenty of money. Lately, about a little over a month ago, I lost my freelance job. Again, it's happened to me more than once. And then there's this challenge to not become insecure in my mindset, my energy, which I think I'm doing fairly well at because I got these dog friends with me, and I have a lot of, my health is in a better position than it was a couple years when I really hit, a couple years ago when I hit more of a rock bottom financially and physically and emotionally and all the things. So even though financially I'm not at a rock bottom, but it is scary to not have any income. Some of you might be able to relate. It's also freeing, I suppose. That's all a trade-off in the world, right? Well, thank you for looking at my book on Amazon. Yeah, they're hard to find. I actually have like a dozen books on Amazon, but they are increasingly hard to find, even me knowing the exact title and author and looking for them. So one of the things I'm hoping to do this year is figure out how to make that a little bit easier. I have a few ideas, but we'll see. We'll see if they work or not. It's, again, all a work in progress, grand experiment. My dog friend is in here telling me he wants to play some ball, and I just wanted to pop on. And as I started off saying, I was going to pop on at 3:33 and talk about synchronicity, but then I missed the window and I ended up talking about imperfection. That's the way life goes sometimes. So thank you, Let the Sun Shine Through, for joining me for some humaning and some moments of being present together in real time. I think it's a cool thing. I just posted a birthday party invite on Facebook that took me, like, I don't know, it's been a month. I've been pondering it, and I had a lot of resistance to pushing that button to post my invite, and I couldn't quite feel like I got it right. I'm not sure what this is. A lot of internal resistance to connecting with people, and it's like related to my desire to connect with people. And I think I'm not alone in this interesting internal resistance. I just heard a definition of stress earlier. Maybe it was today or yesterday. Hey, thank you. Ciao. I will take that as a compliment and have to look up Blondie Debbie Harry. I think I know who you're talking about, but anyway, I've been compared to who's that male comedian? You probably know. Anyway, is what it is, right? What was I saying? I just lost my train of thought. Oh, about resistance and posting my birthday invite and how the definition of stress. that I heard was when you're wanting one thing and doing another, when there's an internal conflict, basically, between two ideas. And that's exactly what I'm experiencing with my desire to get together with people, and also feeling some resistance to it. And it's creating internal turbulence or stress. But I am riding it out, as I like to. And I have clicked the button and I have invited a few friends, partly because I had already mentioned it to my bandmates and they were are already planning on coming over. So I know at least a couple people will be here. And really, I'm not looking for a big group at all. I'm a little worried about my dog friends barking and being out of hand. But so that was part of what I had to put on my invite. Only people who are okay with dog mayhem and dealing with that. Well, a lot of people are. So I know I am. So it'll be fine. It'll be what it is. And I'm looking forward to the practice of humaning with other humans in person, face to face. I've done a little of it, but I used to do a lot more of that. And then even before the lockdowns and the pandemic, I was having some of this internal resistance. And I think it's complicated. There's a lot of reasons for it. Part of it is learning to sit with myself and be fine with that. I really do enjoy my alone time to be creative and make things like the bottle walls and things that really, I can't really get into that creative flow state so well when I have other people around me. So there are things about it I really like, but I do think it's important to balance that with social time, because otherwise I get in that just all in my head kind of loopy, crazy place that humans get when we don't see other humans enough. So anyway, sounds like someone might be up front. My dogs are telling me. Gonna sign off. Thanks again. Let the sun shine through, and anyone else out there in internet land here on the earth with us. Ciao for now. Abisinia. Bye.